Welcome back to the Mind and Money podcast. I'm Val, a financial planner.
And I'm Sherry, a financial coach. And today we're diving into cashback, reward programs, and interest, like high interest savings accounts, and talking about what we personally do and how we balance the rewards versus spending and all that jazz. So what is your primary cashback reward program?
I would say the biggest one would be I use PC MasterCard. PC has its own ethical things, so we won't get into that. But I use it because I typically go to Esso for fuel, or I think mobile is also one, and groceries. So getting those points back directly, and then it typically results in December, like using it throughout the year. And then in December, I use my points to pay for groceries for the month. So that's the biggest one that I would say I use. A lot of people typically have the credit card that is associated with their bank, right? So we don't always have the program that works the best for us. Like some of us have these cards that don't give us really any points at all, and they cost us money.
Yeah, an annual fee reward card is good in some situations if you're using it to its fullest abilities.
Yes.
Accessing the thing. So a lot of times we go and get these cards with a monthly or annual fee and think that we're getting the benefit out of it, but then we don't actually use it enough. Yeah, I'm a PC points collector too, but recently, they've switched up their programs. Mm-hmm. And I used to subscribe to their, when they had one membership because I got my grocery pickup and I got more points.
Yes.
But since they separated them, I've stopped doing it. And I used to get a pretty decent amount of points, but it seems like recently the program has really taken a dive points wise.
It's almost like they get you in and then they're like, oh, by the way.
Yeah, they're like, oh, we're not making enough money. We need to stop giving people so many points.
Yeah. So I mean, check the credit card that you have and explore what's out there with what your habits are.
And what you use the points for, what you use the cashback.
Yes.
So one of the things that irritates me about a lot of cashback credit cards is that they dictate when you get your cashback.
Yes.
Typically once a year, typically in November or December. Yep. So then you're just automatically getting this credit to your credit card in a higher spending period. So you blink and you probably don't even notice it, especially if you're not paying close attention to your credit card transactions. So it then becomes, yes, you get a credit to your statement, but you probably don't even notice it. So then it doesn't even feel like a reward. So if you're going for a cashback credit card, looking for one that you get to control when and how you get that cashback, because that allows you to have more flexibility, be more intentional with it. And not sponsored at all, but my husband and I have Rogers here at the house for our cell phones and for our internet. And there's very few options for my fellow Canadian peeps. There has been a few more recently, and we've decided to go, because we are Rogers users, with the Rogers credit card, because there's no annual fee. You get 2% cash back on all your spending. But if you use the cash back, redeem it against your Rogers or Shaw bill or any of the affiliates, you actually get more. So it turns into 3% cash back on everything. And again, one caution, we've talked about this before when we did an episode on credit cards. Using credit cards can get you in a heap of trouble financially. Yes. And I talk to a lot of people who have credit card debt, and sometimes there's a big event that leads to that credit card debt, but a lot of times it's just slowly creeping up over time. So if you are focused on credit card points, reward programs with your credit card cashback, I encourage you to lean into only doing this and because we try and filter all of our spending on our credit cards that we can. Anything that doesn't charge us an extra fee to go on a credit card, we put it on this card so that we can get a good amount of cash back every month towards our Rogers bill. But I only encourage you to lean into this if you can start with a card that has no balance and you can pay it off every month religiously.
Yep.
And if you start doing that and you're really good, and then you start to not be able to pay it off in full, pull back from using that card.
Yeah, go back to debit.
Because the cash back that you're getting is only really a reward if you are not paying interest. If you're paying hundreds of dollars in interest each month and you're getting 40, 50, a couple $100 in cash back, you're more than paying for that with your interest. So if it impacts your spending habits, which there's some surveys out there that show it does increase spending.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And not to say that I'm saying I'm completely immune, that it doesn't increase our spending. It's just like we're able to gratefully be in a position where we can manage that. And if it impacts our spending, I think it's only a little bit, because
you're both mindful and you're both on the same team about it.
Yeah. And so if I'm using the credit card for something that I'm buying, so if you listen to the episode from last week, Confessions of Me Buying More Hair Products, I use my credit card to buy that. But then because I'm paying for it from my personal account, I then pay off almost immediately that exact same amount on the credit card, so that it doesn't like it doesn't hang out and it's a balance and we never pay interest. Within the last year, I just looked this up. So in 2024, we earned just under $1,800 cash back on our credit card.
Yeah, I would say ours would be pretty similar to that.
So, and I know it's a privilege to be able to use our card and pay it off every month, to be able to get that without.
But it's also dangerous. It's not for everyone. Not for everyone, as Sherry explained.
And so it's like, gives us a nice kick. Like in those months where we had bigger transactions, like we'll put our annual homeowners insurance payments on the credit card. So when there are those months when there's those bigger transactions going on, there was a couple months we got very close to paying our Rogers bill in full with our cash back, which is just, it's really nice
cool
to be able to do and see it add up. So
now we're going to talk about the savings account / high interest savings account. And a small bone that I have to pick with this is that 99% of the time, when your savings account says high interest, check what the actual interest rate is. There are a lot of promotional rates that might last for like 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 6 months of like, it was 5% for a little bit. It might be like 3.5%. But after that, your promotional interest goes to normal interest, which is typically 0.01%. Like it's next to, not quite next to nothing, but well, yeah, it's next to nothing. Even though the account might be called a high interest savings account, unless you hold some of the balances, like the interest rate doesn't change until you have $500,000 in there. And that's typically not the place you want it to be. Anyways, you want it in a tax-free savings account. So if there's interest that you earn, it's non-taxable, and you want it making more than 0.1%.
Yeah. So high interest
is a bone to pick with those.
Yeah, definitely same. One thing that's frustrating, but I totally understand for the financial institutions, is that they've been lowering their interest rates that they're paying out, as the Bank of Canada has been lowering the overnight rate, which I get it, but it's just a little frustrating, especially so we choose to hold a lot of our savings in an account with Coho, also not sponsored, but I will have the link in the show notes if you want to sign up.
Just letting you know.
With it's not an affiliate link. It's just anybody who has an account can get a link. We did have for a while there 5% interest, and
yes,
we actually now pay a monthly fee to get access to the higher interest rates, because of course I've crunched the numbers and it makes more sense to pay the fee to get the higher interest rate with the amounts that we have in there. But there are other, I think EQ is the one that has a higher.
Simply had a promotional for a bit.
I think EQ's is not promotional, but I think they
They
have
do have a pretty strong one.
rates dependent on, I think they have an account that is like a 10-day waiting period and a 30-day waiting period. So if you have money in there, there's that waiting period before you can withdraw it. And a longer waiting period, I think, has a higher interest rate. And I also think that you can bump that up by 0.5% if you have your direct deposit, your pay.
Yes, theirs was beating Wealth Simple too at a certain time. But I always prefaced, like, every client's a little different. Like, some clients just want to be at one institution. That's it. I have other clients who will open a Simply account, hold the money in there, get the promotional rate, 6 months later, move it to EQ. Like, it depends on how much time and energy you want to spend on it.
Fucking around with moving it, because it's just, especially having higher amounts, like to e-transfer it from one account to the other.
Right.
You gotta do it over multiple days. And it's just like, because we were with Tangerine for a long time and had very consistent promotional offers, but then they just stopped doing it. And of course, now I get them, but then it's like I have to move all that money back.
But even then, you've got multiple institutions like Coho.
I have all the financial institutions.
That's what I mean. You're still utilizing it in a sense. You're just not playing like the chess game of moving pieces. But that's not for the majority. I will say.
But for also some people, especially if you have ADHD, having your savings accounts at a different financial institution than your main checking accounts really helps to lean into that out of sight, out of mind, because then you log in to see how much you have in your checking account. And if you've been listening, your spending account too, you can see that, but then you don't see those savings amounts. And then something happens and you need to use your savings and you log in, you're like, oh shit, that's a nice amount.
That's a nice chunk.
Account. And okay, one other program that I use as a rewards program is Rakuten Cashback, because it allows you to get cash back and sometimes get extra promotional codes too when you're shopping. And I have the Rakuten app on my phone, and I purposely do not have the other apps on my phone that are linked to Rakuten. So Sephora, Amazon, anything that I can get cash back for through Rakuten. I just don't have those apps on my phone, so I don't have to remember to go through Rakuten. So it's like a trifecta. Maybe is it 3? I don't know. So like I will go through Rakuten to buy stuff from Sephora. So I get Rakuten cash back or Scene Points. You can get Scene Points as well. And then I use my rewards credit card. So I get cash back there. And then I usually get some free samples too. So it's kind of like,
it's a system, right?
To my madness. I think my order was like 110, and I got 10% cash back plus then 3% cash back on my credit cards. It's a game, and you have to know the rules to play it and not end up and not end up hurting yourself financially, going, oh, they have this promotion, and if I do this and this and this, I get 13% cash back. But then if you pay 22% interest, even for like a month or two, you've lost any benefit that you got from it. Be cautious, understand your rewards programs. So like if you're buying something through Rakuten and you're using your debit credit card, it's coming right out of your bank account. Like win-win. So you can use some of these reward programs without having a credit card. So there are lots of options to look for. So if you have any other rewards programs or credit cards that you love, let us know. Share those
with us.
Yeah, let us know, because there's often things out there that we're not looking for. Oh, and I'm also going to share a link to a website that I'm not affiliated with, but that helps you select a credit card. So if you're looking for a credit card to do something specific, it helps you
narrow it down.
And this is for Canadians. It helps you narrow down your different options, and you can even put in your credit score and see which ones you might be
eligible for. Awesome.
But just know, if it says you're fully out, like, it's not necessarily going to be.
Take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah. Just like when you're on the credit score, the free credit score apps, they'll say you're eligible for a specific card. And I've heard people that went and applied for them and didn't get them. So it's not a guarantee. So take it with a grain of salt and do what you need to do to optimize your cash back, your rewards, but first focus on that financial foundation and doing what you need to do to take care of your personal and business finances overall first, because that needs to be your first priority. So
thanks for listening,
and we'll see you next time on the Mind and Money Podcast.